live stream. I could have changed the caption, but I didn't. Tater tater, tater tot, sort of like potato. It's a potato live stream is what it's gonna be. Alright, so I'm gonna wash my hands again just because I like my hands to be really clean when I'm making food. Just any other time, right? Get some hand washing action going. And we're gonna start making some potatoes. Tater. Hi, how you doing? Well, first, I might do this. I might heat up some coffee before I get too deep into making my tater dish. This is a very yeah, my hair is growing a little bit. This is true. It is good. Just been I don't know, enjoying my time off. Coffee is yummy. It's my favorite. I was gonna make a little video about Disneyland, but I made some tiny ones when I was there and afterwards at the park, so I just never really put it together because I did a whole Disney vlog back in December, but I just didn't. I didn't feel like it got a lot of search, to be honest with you, which just made me think, because the time before that I went, I spent a lot of time filming things, and I thought, it was kind of fun, like I put a lot of effort into it, but then it just turned out, well, I didn't get a ton of views out of it anyway, so I don't know why I would, it just made me kind of hesitant to do another, hi. So I have a lot of potatoes that have been hanging out in my fridge. I don't think I'm going to peel them because they're kind of soft. I think I'm just going to cut off their skins. That's what I'm going to do. Cut out like the bad parts of them and then put them in my containers. And then we're going to proceed. Well, that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to rinse off potato number 1. Get them a little rinsey rinse. I think I've rinsed a lot of them already, but I'm just doing a double rinse. I'm gonna cut out the bad. Like if there's any bad parts, I'm just gonna cut them off. Like usually I do, but these are getting kind of soft a little. Potatoes don't go bad, by the way. Just want to use them up before they completely go bad. So just making sure to cut out any bad parts of it. We're not going to waste potato, okay? Not going to waste our potato. Oh, but there's balloons, like, what about Mickey balloons? I think when you go as an adult, you'll have more fun. But I would think, like, seeing the princesses, that's something, like, a lot of boys like, too, because what if you think they're pretty? I don't know. There's some guys that marry women that dress up like Disney princesses, like, but I get it. I think, like, a military guy, like, my dad, he was kind of weird about Disneyland. He wouldn't even go. Like, he said, it's a man-made thing, and I don't know if that's necessarily a military thing with him. I think it was just kind of like, oh, I don't like Disneyland. Like, so he never has been, which I find hilarious. Like, he will not. He refuses. But, it might be a military thing. It might just be him. He doesn't like it. And then I think my grandpa, he didn't like it either. Because I know my aunt wanted to go, like, back in the 70s when she was a teenager. And they were visiting my parents out here in California when they first moved out here. And she wanted to go to Disneyland, but he was like, no. And back then it was a lot more affordable than it is now. Like, he was very adamant against it, like as if it was like some sort of evil thing. But I like Disneyland, so yeah, I do totally get it. When you're an adult, even if you had good experiences when you're a kid, the thing I like going as an adult is as a kid, like even when I went with my mom or like when I went on school trips, you just would always go with other people that they always had to do the things that they wanted to do. And I'll tell you this, like, so we were able to go to Disneyland on grad night, and I kind of wish I would have just stayed in the park walking around by myself, because I thought, oh, I'm going to ride all these rides. I'm really going to get my money's worth, because it was like $33, which, hey, like in my family, that was a lot of money. You know, my mom was working. They had a house payment. It wasn't like they had kids. And for her to give me $33 to go, that was a lot of money. Plus, like, you know, $30 or something for souvenir. That wasn't like small change for her. So I did the log ride, I remember, as a senior for our grad night, because that's the thing in Southern California. They have, I don't know if they do this anymore, but they used to, like in the 90s. Maybe they still do. I haven't been in high school for a long time. And I haven't really asked the high school kids. I'd have to ask my nephew. I don't think he went, though. But yeah, they used to have a grad night where you would spend the night at Disneyland, and it was supposed to be really magical. It was supposed to be drug-free. But even though there was security guards, I guess there was a controversy about kids smoking things in the park. I don't know. So I don't know. I remember I was like a senior in high school, and I made the mistake of meeting up with this girl who, I don't know, like she didn't want to do any of the rides, and then I just felt like I kind of wasted my money and my time, because I wanted to do rides. She's like, oh, I don't want to do any rides tonight. I'm like, I don't know why. I should have just told her I want to do rides. Like, that's why I've just gotten to the point where I actually enjoy doing things by myself sometimes, or just with somebody that's a little bit more, like my one sister I went with, she likes to do rides. She's not like, oh my God, like, we can only do certain rides. Like, there's some people, even if you go as adults, they're just very rigid about, like, what you can do places, and I don't really like that. Or, I met this guy who thought Disneyland was a waste of money, and I was like, oh my God, but yet you were telling me that you drove like 60 miles out of your way to get like a cinnamon roll at an Armenian bakery, and you live in San Bernardino, and you drove all the way to Orange County to get it, but yet you told me Disneyland was a waste of money. How much did you... Well, back then, in 1996, $33 was a lot of money to me, because, well, when I was a kid, I didn't have a job in high school, and my parents had 2 other children, and my mom had to work, and they had to pay, like, their house payment. They didn't just have money to throw around. So, like, for regular working people, yeah, nowadays the tickets, like, we paid $128. Like, it's gone up. There's inflation and all that. But I like the nostalgia. Like, I do love Mickey Mouse. He's very cute. My mom has, like, these little Mickey figurines. They're very adorable that she got when we first went. Like, my first experience going to Disneyland. Maybe one of these days, I know I always say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But maybe I'll do, like, a photo slideshow of, like, trips to Disney. But that would take a lot of work. And then they're just kind of, like, personal photos. But I think that they might be a... Yeah, you're right. Inflation, see? You're in the wrong chat room. You're funny. You're in the wrong chat room? Okay. This is... Now you're thinking of the 90s. Well, a lot of people didn't have tons of money to throw around like that. And they had to be very careful with their money, okay? And if you don't understand that, then maybe you have kind of been living in a cave. Like, literally. Because that's realism. Like, not everybody was rich growing up. A lot of people had to be careful with their money. Even if they made a good income, they had several children, and they have a house payment. And this is reality. And people that didn't want to go broke couldn't just blow money on everything. So, yeah. That's why, even though now, like, I might say, even now, like, spending $100 for a ticket, $128, it's still a treat. It's not like I do that every single day. I mean, I live in reality land, and a lot of us have bills, And we have budgets. Budgets and bills are reality. Not everybody's Elon Musk, you know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if your parents do have money, like, to think that, oh, that they can just spend it on whatever you want, that's just not realistic. So, I have to say, you're just very, like, out of touch with reality if you don't understand that that is a lot of money to some people. Like, maybe, I don't know, do some reading, like, about why, what, like, have you ever heard of the Great Depression and stuff like that? Yeah, well, going out is fine, but I think it's good to be frugal with your budget as well. I understand. But I was just replying to the person that was saying, oh, he's definitely in the wrong chat room. It's like, he doesn't understand that people live on budgets or something. Like, he just, I mean, okay. Some reality checks are good for you. And it doesn't offend me. I just think it's funny that you would be so out of touch with reality. I'm definitely in the wrong chat room. Like, first off, they start, hello, pretty ladies, like, all nice, all strong. Then it gets kind of rude. It gets rude quick. Like, there you go, Spaghetti-O. You get realism, and then they go to rudeness. That's why a lot of people don't really post much on social media, and they feel intimidated by social media, by the way. That's why I always talk about the unhealthy side of social media, and I don't pretend to be something I'm not on social media, because a lot of people that pretend to have money, like, oh, what's my favorite? I like Minnie Mouse, I think, and I like Pluto. Oh, I love Pluto. I like Mickey too. Scrooge McDuck is fun too. I think you would have liked the new Toontown ride, because it's like an homage to classic Disney. Do you ever go to Disney in France, like Paris? Have you been there? Like, a lot of people like that. And I've been seeing, ever since I went to Disneyland and I posted something on TikTok, I've been seeing a lot of posts about Tokyo Disney. And apparently they have rides that you don't have in the U.S. Disney, although the ride's in Japanese. But I think could be kind of fun. No, you're nice. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about I'm talking about the guy at the very beginning. Like, he just started out being all like, oh, like, la 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 la. And then he got upset because I mentioned that $33 was a lot of money to me at that time, you know. He's like, what? Oh my God. Like, but you know, I was referring to what Sean was saying, but it's all good. But like I was saying, the people that talk about the unhealthy side of social media, the reason being it's because there's people that post like showing like they go. By the way, did you know influencers get paid to go to Dubai? They get paid to go there. Like a lot of the women, they don't live there and they don't have modeling contracts. They're getting paid to go there, like to do PR for companies. And some people are like, they're really rich. They went to a music festival there. I'm like, they got paid to go there. Or even here in the U.S., a lot of people that are posing in front of like really expensive cars on Instagram. Somebody was complaining that a whole bunch of influencers were like posing in front of their house and car, pretending that they were staying or living there. And he had no clue who they were. He's like, what are you guys doing here? So for you to be sitting, it sounds like you had really good memories. That's very cool. It sounds, I mean, like you had very vivid memories. I kind of had vivid memories of when I was young, too. The fireworks can be loud. Like, even now on 4th of July weekend, I find, like, I used to like to go out and you could see a firework display from my house, but I've been finding the last couple of years that I don't go out because every time. Yeah, exactly. They got paid, but there's a lot of people, they actually think that these women, like, that are doing, like, what I ate in the day. Like, there was this model influencer lady, and she was in Dubai. She goes, look, I got DoorDash in Dubai. And they thought, like, she could afford that, but she got paid to go there, and she got paid to, like, it's a whole thing. Like, there's people that are rich that are paying, like, people to go to festivals and just kind of, like, because that's where a lot of money is concentrated right now. You know, there's a lot, you know, because of different business contracts. I would say Hong Kong too. You see some of that. I mean, LA, you kind of see it, just maybe not as much as you once did. Oh, well, see, that's good. My sister too. She says like the noise canceling earphones help. So at least you have a strategy to deal with it. So, but I just think it's funny, like, people, they get like, oh my gosh, like, people don't have lots of money, they're not rich, and I'm like, I don't know, it's funny. It was funnies. Did I freeze? Better not be frozen. See, well, it's good to have rich friends. I think that's really nice. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with having money and being really rich. I think that's cool. Like, look, everybody would like to make more money unless you live in some sort of Marxist, like, fantasy utopia. Most people actually think money's a good thing, but reality is a lot of people have budgets. So I'm just I didn't know that there were homeless people in Dubai though, because the way that Dubai, like, this is interesting. Like, I'm glad to read that, because just the way that Dubai portrays themselves, it made it seem like they didn't really have homeless people. They made it seem like they took care of all their people. So I'm really surprised. I did not know about that. But you know, it's the same in LA. Like, you have really, really rich parts of LA, and then you have the homelessness, like, just a couple blocks over. And then you have parts of LA that were very dangerous. Used to be very low income, crime ridden areas. Like, I would say 2 decades ago, and now they're like gentrified, and like a house there costs like $1 million. It's crazy. Like, same with the ocean too. Like, you go to Huntington Beach or Long Beach, and there's these houses. They were literally built in the 1930s. Like, they're just these modest little ranch-style houses, and you know those houses are worth a lot of money. And those people built those houses, they weren't what they were charging today. So my whole point is, there's nothing wrong with being rich. There's nothing wrong with having money. I just find it funny that, and I don't mean to go on and on about this, but somebody's like shocked that somebody was honest with you. But that's why a lot of people don't post on social media, you know, because they see all these people posting super glamorous things, and then they're like, oh my God, I can't post something because I just have regular stuff and I'm a regular person. There's actually this trend on TikTok called Normalizing Regular Houses, where people show, hey, I don't have this really wealthy house. I mean, you can do things to make your house beautiful, by the way, without being rich. And I love DIY. So, like, DIY is awesome. Mm. Money does not impart good taste, by the way. Because, like, sometimes people have really poor taste and they have a lot of money. Have you ever noticed that? Like, there are some people, like, they have very questionable taste. What's an example? I would say maybe how in the 1980s people used to paint walls gold and stuff. Like, or I love pink, but a 1980s Pepto-Bismol kind of oddly shaped building. There's a lot of those, by the way, and they tend to be ones that have a lot of for rent signs in them. I like your box braids. Those are really cool. So my favorite hairstyle, I like actually doing twin braids, but I only do it like on my free time more now because I just found like a lot of people, I don't know, they don't like it for some reason, or yeah, I don't like ripped clothing though. Like, I think ripped jeans is weird. Like, what's up with that? Like, there's actually, it was kind of funny. People were like questioning this one business because there was these ladies that were wearing like these really holy clothing, pieces of clothing, and the dresses were like stained looking, and it was like some sort of shabby chic brand. I don't know exactly what it was, but they were charging like $5,000 for a dress or $1,000 for a pair of pants, and people were like, "Is this real?" And I finally just said, I remember because I kept seeing this post on TikTok. I said, "You know what? This is an ad. If you go, because I don't." It's like people say, you can never find anything on TikTok again. Once you see it, it's gone forever. Actually, it's not. You just need to go into your activity history and you can click on my activity and you can see every video you watch. Or if you want to find out like who's running an account, you just click on their profile. It's just the same as YouTube. People keep saying that TikTok is so much harder to navigate, but it really isn't. The thing that is different about TikTok is TikTok intentionally makes it to where like it's not going to promote evergreen content. It's going to promote like trending and new topics. But I went to this lady's account and it was an ad for like some sort of grungy vintage looking clothing, but it just was holy. And actually real homeless people, they don't even want to look like that. Like a lot of homeless people, they don't want you to know that they're homeless because they don't want to get in trouble. Like for instance, like let's say people are living in their car or something, they don't want to be known as like being homeless, so they're gonna actually like do what they can to stay clean and to look neat. Like they're not gonna intentionally wear clothes that look, damaged. But yeah, no, this whole ripped jean thing too, it's been around for a while. I guess it started, well, this is the funny part, it started in the 70s, okay? I was not born until the late 70s, but apparently it was a big thing like in the mid 70s. But back then the difference was people did DIY rip your jeans. And then I remember in the late 80s, or yeah, mid to late 80s, you started seeing, like when I was really young, like at the department stores, you started seeing the ripped jean thing. And it was kind of making a comeback again, but it was more like designer ripped jeans. And then I think it kind of fell out of favor for a while. I mean, you saw a little bit of it in the 90s, but not really. And then for some reason, a few years ago, the whole ripped jeans thing has made a big resurgence again, where it's really, really popular to wear ripped jeans. So I'm going to turn on the oven. So I don't know. I guess fashion things go in circles, but it is kind of funny because, well, it used to be that was kind of like an American thing to wear things like that look kind of casual and not really put together. And it used to be like people in other countries didn't do that because they actually wanted to dress up and look more put together. But I think casual culture is just becoming more prolific everywhere. So now it's becoming like more of an international thing. I'm like, oh boy. It's just not one part of U.S. culture that I think was great to be exported. ripped jeans. I'm not a fan. No. Yeah, I'm not that young. I wish I were that young. I just look very young for my age. I wish I were that young. Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. I think Nigerian people, don't they take a lot of pride in their clothing? I know like African people, like they love to wear really beautiful outfits. And I remember there was actually this documentary about there was a documentary about like clothing and how it's being shipped to African countries just to be resold, but a lot of it's stained and in bad condition. And then a lot of it ends up in their landfills. But they were just talking about how in different various African countries people dress very nice for church, and they always used to dress in beautiful prints, and now it's becoming more popular to wear certain westernized clothing that's just more casual, and that's not how things always were. I thought that was kind of interesting. So it was a documentary about thrifted clothing and about how, yeah, people think that they're helping by donating their clothing to, like, I don't know, different thrift agencies, but what's not sold in the U.S. gets shipped abroad, and it sounds very good. Might be too much oil, but oh well. Maybe I'll chop up another potato to go in there because that's too much. That's too much for that one. I just want it light. I like oil, but I don't want to deep fry it in the oven. Or I'm not trying to do that, right? Oh, bad part that you see. How long? Well, it goes back for me though, like years and years, because okay, so for me, I haven't ate any meat, like no meat. The last time I had any meat, where I used to sometimes eat turkey and fish and chicken occasionally, like maybe once, twice a week, but even then it wasn't a lot and it wasn't every week. Like sometimes I could go a couple of weeks and I'd be good, like not eating turkey or chicken, and I mostly would just like sometimes I would make a chicken stir fry. Occasionally, like I did like very early on in my channel, like many years ago. I would say like 11 years ago, like I did a roasted chicken thing, but I don't do that anymore. Like I don't roast chicken, I don't eat chicken. So I would say the very last time I ever ate any meat was November of 2013, which has been about 10 years. And I've been I'm vegan mostly, but it's not like super strictly strict. Like look, I don't want any candy with gelatin. That's just nasty. But occasionally I have a sweet tooth, and sometimes I eat like candy that might be vegetarian. You know, not any gross stuff. Like I try to make sure it doesn't have gelatin in it. Like that's the most important thing to me, because I think the whole idea of having gelatin in candy is nasty as hell. Sorry for my bad language, but that's just my opinion. And yeah, so I try to be mostly vegan, but occasionally I eat candy that might not be completely vegan. But if I can, I try to buy candy that is plant-based, if that makes any sense, if I do eat candy. And I've been trying, like, just not to, like, I used to sometimes want to indulge if somebody brought in donuts at work, but personally I've just been trying, if I'm going to eat a sweet, try to make it plant-based too. So fully, like completely, like it started for me, I would say in December of 2013, But I was still maybe consuming some dairy things here and there up until the end of 2014. But it's mostly been vegan since that time period. Mostly, like, it's a lot less. Like, I don't drink milk, obviously, lactose intolerant anyway. But and I don't eat eggs. But I think vegetarian's probably a good compromise for most people. Like my mom, she's been fully vegetarian since 1974, and she's, I don't know, my mom amazes me. She's like 71 and she's still out gardening, and she's like, she told me she was like digging a hole yesterday for something, gardening and moving all this dirt. My mom's in really good condition, like very good health wise, and like I would say her health is even better because she's just so physically fit, like gardening like all day long. Like she loves the garden, like that's her favorite thing. She's more physically fit now in her 70s than she probably was in her 50s having a desk job. That's what I could tell you about that. So I think it's a, yeah, I just feel like for my own personal spiritual reasons, I don't like meat. And I love eating plant-based mostly. Sometimes some things might be more considered vegetarian, but that's just been my path. My mom wanted us to be like strict vegetarian growing up because that was just what she preferred, and I don't know, as a kid I kind of deviated from it, but I never ate hamburger, and I've never ate pork, and I've never ate oh no, the oven turned off. I thought it was on this whole time. Okay, so I've never ate like pork, hamburger. When I did eat meat years ago, it was only like chicken or fish, and it wasn't even every day or at every meal. And I got to the point that the thing that made me not ever want to eat meat again was just because I didn't like preparing meat. And that was the final decision for me, because I was like, oh no, I would never eat pork. Like, it's very disgusting. Like, I think it's like, mm-mm. But even like, I don't know, even when I did used to eat chicken and stuff, like, I sort of felt like almost the same way about beef. But now, like, you couldn't pay me to eat chicken or fish. Like, it's just been so long, and the whole thought of it just, I have no interest at all, and I haven't missed it. But I think for most people, vegetarian probably works better than vegan. Like, I just happen to like this a little bit better. But I'm not, like, trying to be like the vegan people on YouTube, because I think they're a little crazy. Like, they're a little cray-cray, okay? Like, they just take it to extremes. They also think you shouldn't eat any olive oil, or like, oh no, there's some coconut oil. Like, they were chastising people for eating the vegan Ben & Jerry's ice cream because it had some fat in it. And I'm like, well, actually, fat's not bad for you, and oil's not bad for you. But they were like acting like it was like eating like a whole bunch of French fries dipped in 5 pounds. It just got weird, and a lot of vegan people, like, there's a big turnover in it, because a lot of it's just like this really low fat, really unsavory, very disordered. Oh, yeah, this was another thing. There were some vegans that were saying that you had to start making hummus without tahini, which was weird. I'm like, this is not how Middle Eastern people make it. You have to have the tahini or it's not hummus. And they're like, like this one person's like, that's not true. And I'm like, okay. But you go tell some like authentic Middle Eastern restaurant that, and they're not gonna agree, but hey, you do you. I love tahini. So I think like personally, I have to eat some plant-based fats though. Like, a lot of people that are vegan are really low fat, and they have these really restrictive diets where some of them only eat fruit, and it has to all be raw fruit. Or if they do eat cooked food, like, they can't eat too much protein, like even plant-based protein, or they can't have too many avocados. Like, they worry about like having more than half an avocado or something, or a quarter even. I mean, yeah, you can. Well, also too, I think too, like if you are at McDonald's, interestingly, you can get a salad there, or you used to be able to. The funny thing is they used to have good salads there at McDonald's here in the U.S. up until the pandemic, and then they discontinued it or something. I was like, that's weird. They've even used to have vegetarian options, and I think McDonald's in the U.K. now actually has like vegan options. You know, they actually were trying that for a while at some other restaurants, but it doesn't really last very long here. They're like, oh, we are just trying it out. Like if I do eat out, really the only place like sometimes I would want to go is Del Taco because they had like a plant-based meat. It's called Beyond Meat, and they were featuring that for a while, and then they took it away recently. And I'm like, well, I still go there, but it's just because I can get something that's plant-based. Like I get something called like the 7-layer burrito, and it just has beans, rice, like tomato, avocado. Like if I eat out occasionally, and lately I've been getting back into Chinese food sometimes when I eat out because it was more like in our area anyway. Thai was more the popular cuisine, but I still really like Chinese food, and there's this place that has like. I mean, I could make this myself. I really could, but occasionally, like if you just want takeout on a day when it's kind of busy or something, I really like their chow mein. I like their vegetable. I mean, I know they call it an egg roll, and sometimes I'll cheat too because I will have a vegetable egg roll. They don't always have egg in it. But I do have that. It just has veggies on the inside. The wrapper I'm not really sure about, but you can buy ones that are completely plant based. So I don't know for sure. And then they make like a spicy tofu eggplant dish, and I like that. So I just feel like there's a plenty of things you can eat without having to eat meat. But that's just me, and I don't know a lot of people who feel like that long term. Except here in my little town, like Loma Linda, there are a lot of people because it's a Seventh-day Adventist community, and more international people have moved here. And now you have lots of international cuisine and restaurants. Like they actually have a really good vegan Chinese restaurant, and I ordered from it once. It was just a little pricey, but I was really impressed. They had a vegan kung pao chicken. It wasn't chicken. It was like plant-based mock meat, mushroom to substitute for the chicken, and they had a delicious mango smoothie, and it was just really good. It was just like, ooh, this is a little pricey, but I would totally support them if you eat out, you know. Until recently. That's too bad because I think in California, for the most part, they don't use like that. Except I was surprised because I know like French fries and stuff and other fried foods don't use stuff like that. But I was surprised because I found out like at Disneyland because we went to the Hungry Bear restaurant and I decided not to get the onion rings because they said that they were dipped in lard, and I thought that was the weirdest thing. I'm like, why do onion rings need to be dipped in lard? That just didn't make any sense. Yeah, you could make popcorn. You know, I got these at Costco, but you could go online and I think on Amazon, well, maybe Temu, anywhere really, and you could just type in Mickey. Because what are these ones? They're like a Mickey Merry Christmas bowls. These are my favorite. I was going to make my sister give me hers because I asked her recently. I said, "Do you even use those bowls we bought at Costco a few years ago?" And she goes, "No, not really." I know it's horrible. I have a lot of these bowls, so like I have several of the Mickey ones, and then I have other Pyrex ones. But I was almost feeling like telling her, "Why don't you give them to me? Because they've just been sitting in your cabinet, and you don't really bake." But I don't want to do that. I was just thinking it'd be funny to be like, "Hey, you should just give them to me. You know, you don't really use them." I mean, I love them for roasting vegetables and making salads and pretty much everything. Sometimes I've even cleaned my hairbrushes in them. Well, I know that sounds gross, but I always clean it afterwards. It's okay, guys. I'm not making anybody else eat out of it. It sounds kind of gross when I think about it, but it gets a bath afterwards. I have to give my hairbrushes a bath. They just need a brush, a bath brush. Okay. You know what? I fell for the brush that I said I was never gonna buy. I said I was never gonna buy that unbrush, but I fell for it because you know what I'm gonna do on my hair channel? And I've been saying I want to make an edited video for a while, and I just haven't done it yet because I don't know. I just haven't been in the mood really lately. But I think it's gonna happen. Well, maybe not right away, but when I get the unbrush, I'm gonna do a review, and I'm gonna do one of those videos where, like, you know, the women brush half of their hair. Well, men do it too. They brush half of their hair with one brush and then the other. And I've been seeing that they use the unbrush. Let's make sure you actually feel hot in there. And I know, oh, you're good. There's heat coming out of it. Muy caliente. That's what I want. Okay, so I'm gonna do a hairbrush review video. I did not think that I was gonna buy that brush because I was like, oh, this brush is so hypey. But then I kept seeing people talk about it. And they're like, oh, this brush really goes through my hair. It goes through my hair so well. So you know what? If that's the case, then I should make a video about it and I can put it on my Amazon storefront, you know? So I ended up spending a little bit more than I wanted on the brush because, like, the actual brand one, well, that's cool. Was it good? Khaled, did it work? Like, do you feel like it's a good quality product? I mean, maybe it's a good quality product, so I would be interested in, like, if you tell us, like, you could tell us sometime if it worked or not. Or if you feel like it makes a difference. I put a lot of, oh, it does? Okay, that's really cool. So, I haven't used hair sunblock. Maybe I'll look into it. I mean, I've been interested in it, but I put the Yves Rocher coconut oil on my hair, and it has some natural SPF in it, and I've done that all of my life. But maybe I should think about hair sunblock. Sounds interesting. It might be good for people that are outside a lot too. I'm thinking, like, swimmers or something. I don't know. It'll probably come out of your hair when you're swimming, maybe. But or just people that maybe go outside a lot, hiking. It sounds like it could be useful. Maybe you, when you get more than 5,000 followers, God, you know what people are doing, and I heard they're making thousands of dollars. I just really haven't gotten my TikTok to that point. Okay, well, have a good day. But I was just gonna suggest, like, maybe you'll see this or not. Some people, they do commission stuff on their TikTok, so maybe you should do that. Since you bought the sunblock, maybe you should do it, like, on yours. Like, you can do, you know, the TikTok shop with it or something. Oh, it's getting hot in here. It's the oven. Right. I'm gonna get my herbs out because I have a lot of herbs I want to use up. Okay, that's RB1. And walk him to the trash. Make sure he gets in the trash bag. And then we're gonna have Irby number 2. That I'm gonna get them all off there. And I can just start number 3. Part here. There, cut up some more onions. All nice and sliced up. A little bit of pepper. Pepper's not really opening up. Yeah, I pierced it earlier. There we go. Maybe that's the ticket. Tiny. I don't want a lot. I just put a tiny, tiny bit of the pepper. And then we want olive oil. A little bit in there. I'll get some more olive oil soon. This is lasting me a while, but we're getting near the end of our line. Remember when I did that olive oil? I mean, it's lasted me almost more than a year. So I do use oil in cooking, but maybe I don't cook as much as I used to. Well, I definitely don't cook as much as I once did. I really need to get more on top of my cooking. That's my goal anyhow. We're going to let these potatoes all roast down for maybe an hour or two too. Lovely. So the oven's at 415. And I do let my potatoes roast for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like, I like them to get really golden on the outside. That's what I'm looking for. This bowl, I think the last time I put it through the dishwasher didn't get completely clean the way I wanted. So I'm just going to kind of give it a little wipey wipe. Because it just has like, I don't know, some residue that didn't give it nice clean. I love aerated washer because it gets a lot of stuff off. It just, oh, it's nice. Very nice indeed. Okay. Let's get another thing to dry him. Nice and dried up. All right. Take another little drink of coffee. I want to cool down a bit, so I'm going to get a little sparkly water because it's hot. It's getting warm in here. It's a blueberry AHA sparkly water. I don't know, sometimes it pauses. Don't pause, keep going. It's very silly once in a while. It's very silly. We don't want you pausing. Just keep going, please. Oh, there's pepper everywhere. No. It smells really good, actually. You know, I like pepper. I know some people don't like pepper, but I like pepper. I just do. I mean, I've heard it's not good to consume pepper, but now that I have bought it again, so I stopped buying it for a long time because I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be eating pepper. But I kind of had a nostalgia for pepper and potatoes, so I don't know. I mean, I'll have to think about that and do some research into it. But some people claim that you shouldn't eat pepper, and maybe this is just residual thinking because I'm not a Seventh-day Adventist, but like I said, I live in the Loma Linda area, and they don't like traditional Seventh-day Adventists. Like, they don't like pepper in cuisine, and I started thinking, like, is there a real health reason behind that? I need to look into it, but I can't help it. I like a little bit of pepper. Pepper tastes good in potatoes. So does rosemary and oregano, cilantro. I like all those things in my potatoes. You know? I do. Oh. Yes, I do. Taters. I mean, I used to be really precise about cutting everything very small back in the days, and I still do sometimes, but lately I'm just like, I like to cut things, but I'm not quite as like precise about it anymore, because I'm just like, I kind of want to just get my food. It's kind of been my feeling these days. More into the era of, I want to make my thing. I don't want to like spend 5 hours cutting the potatoes into tiny, tiny little pieces. Well, I do, but I don't. Like, I used to be really obsessive, like, when I cut vegetables. Very tiny, very precise, very beautiful. And it's such an art, really, to do it that way. Especially when you're in the mood. But lately, I feel like, I don't know, I just don't feel quite like that anymore. And everybody else rough chops anyway, so I'm like, I mean, I'm still kind of chopping it tiny, but I just go for more rough chopping these days, I guess. I don't know what changed about me in that perspective, because I always used to like to do more dainty chopping. Ooh, they're sticking to my fingers. Get in there. I don't want it to stick to my fingers. I just want it in the bowl. So I have to rinse off my fingers in a couple of minutes. I get kind of picky about that. I don't, like, I need to rinse things clean, scooping. And I definitely am beginning to feel the onion, because it's not, it used to be like when I chopped I would say a white onion, my eyes would water right away, but I've noticed with red onions, it's kind of delayed more so. But think I need to build my tolerance back up to it. Cut up another potato. Let's just take off its, ooh, it has some bad parts. Take out all these bad parts. Like if these potatoes I've had for a while. This is another thing. I'm like, potatoes do last, but I've just noticed I need to be cooking more. So I'm just cutting off all the bad parts, getting rid of all the bad parts of the potato. My eyes feel raw. Okay, maybe I'll do a little bit of herbies for this one too. Let's see. I have some herbies here already that I can put into the other one. And grab some herbs out of the bag. I'm drying along with some of the rosemary. Rosemary is so good. I love eating rosemary. You know what I kind of miss? Like, we did have a really cold winter, but there was just something I didn't run my heater this winter. Well, I did a little bit. I got a little space heater that looks like a fireplace, and I would run that sometimes, and I just miss like how it kind of got cold this winter, and I was making potato dishes, and I mean, I don't know. It was just a very cozy winter. I felt like I just have good memories of this winter, just in my own company, like doing things with my own channel, my own content. It's just very peaceful, you know? Okay, so I think this one I'm gonna put a tiny bit of olive oil in. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. Then I'm gonna sprinkle in some salt. And I'm gonna sprinkle in just a tiny bit of pepper. Then I have my handy dandy spoon and I just kind of stir it up so it gets a nice little marinade seasoning going on, just to kind of coat them. And then later, after they've been in the oven for like maybe an hour or so, I'll get my heat resistant spatula and I'll kind of stir them around a bit. But I do love oven roasted potatoes, and somebody said, but they're not roasted if they're not hard on the outside. Look, roasting potatoes, in my view, doesn't mean that they have to be burnt to a crisp, although I do let them roast for a very long period of time. Like, I'll go up to almost 2 hours till they get nice and fully cooked. So it's not that I don't roast them, it's just people have these weird texture obsessions. Like, I kind of like food that's a little mushy. That's not allowed in this world, I guess. You're supposed to like crisp and hard food, and mushy is not allowed. Well, you know what? I do my own rules on food, guys. Make what you like. Stop caring what other people want you to eat. Like, I wouldn't tell this to other people, but if somebody tried to serve me really hard, crunchy things, I probably would be like, no thanks, because I actually don't want to break my teeth. And I think it's okay not to eat everything being super, super crunchy, you know? I think everything has to be super crunchy. I think it's okay not to have some crunch in things, you know? Just my little view, but hey, everybody's got their own view on food preparation. I just think, do food preparation the way you like. Like, there's so many people that want to be, that's why I kind of like making food at home, because you can just make things the way you like. And if it's not in a big group setting, like, you can eat. I'm such an introvert in a lot of ways, because I like to eat what I like, and then I don't want to hear all the dominant people saying what they think everything should be. And I just get really turned off by people that are overly dominant in social situations. And it, like I've said before, it makes me want to go outside and go for a walk and look up at the trees and just look at the sky and not be in those environments. Like, I have no interest in people that want to run a show socially. Like, my tolerance for it's none. I don't have. This one's bad, so he's just not going to be used. That's a very bad potato. Sorry, I waited too long for you. You are a bad potato, so you're demoted to the trash bin. Oh, you can't go down the disposal. You can be right there. I just didn't want to walk to the trash every 5 minutes. I'm making lots of roasted potatoes to last me a few days because I'm like, I'm in the mood to do a big cooking project. Let's do it. Let's do some more onion. Let's get the things off so I don't have to worry about them later. We'll have this inside part. Onions are really picking up. So watery from the onion. Holy. It's like eyes cannot stop watering. Oh, it's so nice. You feel like a little bit that it's sudsed up. I got to see my great grandnephew for the first time yesterday. He was so cute. So cute. He's such a cutie pie. My sister surprised me. She stopped by for about 20 minutes, and I saw him, and he's so cute. Like, he's very cute. He's a cute little boy. He kind of reminds me of my nephew. When my nephew was little, he did not cry at all. Like, he was just very calm, and I haven't seen a lot of babies like that. I was like, he was just a very calm, serene baby. He has like the cutest wardrobe on the planet because my sister bought him lots of cute clothes. He's such a cute baby. Oh yes, he is. I should chop a little bit more. I want to start making onion rings again, but I don't want to deep fry. I want to find a way to make like onion rings and not deep fry. That's kind of my goal, I think. That's what I would like to do. Okay, I feel like the rest of the potatoes might not be super good quality dudes. Like, I feel like they've seen their day in the sun. Like, we should probably make the potatoes earlier. Potatoes last a long time, but yeah, I waited a while. So I'm just gonna cut the top layer off this one, get the skin off of it. I'm gonna have to clean up the apartment like bonkies, like after cooking. Like first I'm gonna vacuum because I feel like any food that got on the floor, like I always wipe down the floor a little bit with like some little rags and things, and then I'm gonna vacuum again. Yeah. Oh goodness. Just saying, my eyes feel like they've had a workout today. And I haven't been running the air conditioner, but I feel like I had it on yesterday for a minute when my sister visited the baby. But oh, I guess the baby kit, they like some of the stuff in it. So maybe it had some use after all. Because I didn't know what I was going to do with that thing. But for some reason, I was sent it to review. That's why we don't review products anymore, because it's just not really. And for the hair channel as well, it was just funny. I'm like, this is just not relevant to my channel. But I think they thought because I shared some things I bought for my great nephew on the channel, they thought I just got weird requests for things like that had nothing to do with me. Like one of them was they wanted to send me a breast pump. A breast pump. They're like, breast pump, you need to review this. And I'm like, I don't have a kid. I just bought a gift. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll send you this baby manicure kit. Can you make a video about it? I'm like, okay, I did, but it just really didn't make any sense. The hair blow dryer kind of did, but then it got weird with the quilt thing because they didn't tell me that I had to iron in. By the way, you can't iron, you can't steam polyester. So I refused to do that. And I realized, no, those are not, I'm not doing those anymore. But, there's lots of opportunity to review products if you want. Like, you just need to reach out to companies and they'll send you stuff to make a video about. I don't really want to do that. I'm just like, yeah. Because it was just like the things they wanted me to do. And then it got weirder because recently I was getting like asked if I wanted to review like something that I would never use. Like I obviously don't eat meat and I'm pretty much vegan. And they were asking me if I wanted to review like a gun or something. It was weird. And I'm like, I would never own one. Like, not interested. Like, why do you think? And it was like, it was just weird. I'm like, it was a belt for like a woman. I'm like, so I just told them, I don't know. I said, I don't know if you know who my audience is, but that's not me. So, yeah, none of those sponsorship things I did ever really made any sense for my channel. They weren't really pertinent to my channel. Like, I don't know. Not really. I just, yeah, no. I haven't had any of them that really were relevant to my channel, in my opinion. I just say no. They were not, okay? Like, we don't review things anymore that just don't pertain to us. Like, it was just getting wacky. It was getting a little wacky. I'm like, yeah, no. Look at all the... We're almost near the end. And then we have a big giant mess to clean up afterwards. How fun is that? I always love cleaning up. But this was my goal. I did want to finally cut up the rest of those potatoes, and then I can start off with a new bag soon. After I eat these this coming week. Okay, so we have that little bunch. I think this piece I like. Well, it actually was in smaller pieces. It just somehow didn't break up as I threw it in there. Maybe I'll make that a little bit smaller. But a lot of the pieces were bigger. I don't need to obsess because I have been doing a lot of rough chopping today. I haven't been doing as much fine chopping as I used to in the past. I used to be more of a fine chopper, like very, very fine choppings. Get the rosemary going. Rosemary and thyme. I think I put thyme in the other one, so it's like rosemary, thyme. I eat a lot of rosemary. Like I put some rosemary essential oil on my scalp. I've never tried the rosemary rinses. Everybody talks about them. They say it's better than minoxidil, apparently. Like if you want to increase your hair growth, which there might be some truth to that, but I was wondering, can't you just eat it too? Am I a skeptic? Can you just eat it too? I say you can. Just eat a lot of rosemary. You'll get the same benefit because it goes into your system the same way that it would go onto your scalpy. That's what I say. So I'm going to eat my rosemary, okay? I mean, I do have some rosemary essential oil. The next time I do a henna, like hair treatment, I plan on putting some of that rosemary in it. And I'm trying to think, did I put it in last time? Did I have it at that time? I'm trying to remember. I might have, but it's been a few months. I've been overdue to want to do a henna hair treatment. The reason I keep putting them off, though, is it's a lot of work. It's not just like something you can do on the fly. You have to have time. You have to really plan it out because It's very labor intensive. It's very messy. It's a lot of different things. You know, messy, labor intensive. Let's put some pepper. Ooh, that's a little bit more than I wanted, but hey, I like pepper, so that's fine. Pepper's good. Salt. For this one, since this is a lot of potatoes, I'm going to put a little bit more generous oil in there than I did the others. I don't really measure anything. I kind of just look and mix. And you know, I kind of like this, like, because these potatoes weren't as big and firm, just kind of cutting off the skins. Like, if they had been fresher potatoes, maybe I would have kept the skins on, but the whole point is you're trying to use up stuff. And we live in reality land, or I do anyway, and I know some people, like, yes, it would be great to be rich and have, like, big budgets. But I live in a world of reality where I'm going to use up the food in my fridge, man. I don't let my food go to waste, and, like, I want to be better about cooking more, like, because I used to cook every meal at home, and I never used to eat out, period. But I just kind of slipped. And I think it would be better budget-wise and just flavor-wise and cooking-wise just to cook everything at home. So these potatoes are going to go in the oven too, along with the others that have been in there. And thanks for watching the stream. I had a lot of fun in the sun. I hope you had fun too. Thanks for watching.